according to the cloud. Okay, so somebody had asked me today during a meeting about this little screenshot I have on here. It says trading is a job. Hey, it's not a passive income, but it's a job. So I believe that was Jamie who wanted a screenshot of that. So I don't know if that will kind of help, but it really, really will wake you up, especially if you read it every day. So definitely. Randy, let's see. Early in the group, pregnant about cryptos and brokers. Okay, so Randy, is something big coming? Well, everybody else, all the geniuses who I'm sure are much smarter than me, all say something really big is coming. Something super, super big is coming. So do I know for sure? Absolutely not. But let me go ahead and pull up my my screen share here. Share my VPS. Got it. Got it. So Randy, to answer your question, well, I mean, there's a ton going on. So obviously Bitcoin broke 10,000. It sold out. It went up and down. Some people are up, I don't know, 130, well, maybe 20,000 pips or some crazy insane number because they're holding, which of course looks good in pip count, but you got to think about all those swap fees. So either way, yeah, there's a lot big coming, whether it be in cryptos or the U.S. markets. I mean, we can look at the U.S. markets. We know what goes up must come down, right? Randy, can you talk? Let's see. So check this out. This is, let's go to the week one. It's pretty simple. It's even on the weekly chart. Do you see that since, I'll zoom out as far as you can go. Since 2012, this has been nothing but up, right? So there's no major retracement. This doesn't even count as like a 21% retracement. It just hasn't happened yet. So something big coming, yeah. You see what gold did? Gold broke a 2-year high, and it's going to go up to an all-time high. That's what they're saying. The economic experts are saying that big things are coming, but that doesn't really matter to us because we make money on the way down and we make money on the way up. So that's neither here nor there for us. But if you want my opinion as to why Hugo's Way is putting a pause on crypto, it's because crypto has done a lot of damage in the last 2 weeks. I mean, you got to think crypto has been, it went up literally $1 billion in value of its traded value. Like on CoinEx, it went up over $1 billion in 7 days. And that's pretty impressive. So is crypto doing something amazing? Absolutely is the answer. Absolutely. Do we know what for sure? Nope, no one knows. And whoever does is fibbing. I mean, we have to crash at some point, and I'm sure they can use a world war, they can use Iran, they can use oil prices, they can use, a political election, the Democrats take the office back. They can use what society and civilians would think of as a monumental thing, as what we civilians would buy, as a problem or a big enough reason, and they'll use that as a reason to crash the market. So, and it's not a bad thing for us because we make money on the way up and we make money on the way down. So yeah, there's that. Let me go back to the chat. I have it today. Yeah.
Hi,
No, hey, how's it going?
pretty good. How about yourself?
Fantastic. I'm loving this. I've been only small trading. The summer's not nearly volatile enough. Volatile, well, however you say that word. Sorry. It's late. A lot of moving, a lot of packing, a lot of dust.
Yeah.
The summer just doesn't have big enough moves. And as you can see, most things are consolidating. Go to any pair. There's so much uncertainty in the markets. Everything is kind of just not picking a direction. So our best bet is to go for 10 pips, 20 pips, and then walk away. So go get your 5 or 6 trades a day and then stop trading. So first off, does anybody have any questions, comments? You guys want to go over a trade or a pair you want to look at? Anybody?
Yeah, I want to look at a pair.
Okay, go ahead.
GBP, JPY.
I just got a 4-8 crossover. Let's take a look. If it will load. Give it a second to think. Evidently, it's temperamental. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, how was trading today? There we go.
I haven't taken any trades today. This will probably be my first trade if I do take it today.
I like it. It's got to break this level, though.
Yeah, you're under 30 minutes.
What time frame do you want me to go to?
Can you go to the 1 hour and the 4 hour? 'Cause that's what I'm kind of looking at.
Okay. So on the 1 hours, what do you see? Tell me what you see.
Well, I see it. It's like the trend's up. Even the 4 hour says so. And it came down. It has daily support. And it had the 4 hour dots. And the ADX just crossed. And the MACD, the green's on top. So
So we have like a momentum candle. So we see our triple arrows cross of our 8 and 18, broke the 50, but then it's kind of just been playing around,
yeah.
But it did make a lower low. So be mindful of that because this low is lower than this low, right?
Yeah, I also saw that.
So that doesn't mean you can't trade it. It just means trade it wisely. So once you get all your confirmations, whatever rules that you're following particularly. So for me, like with this chart set up the way it is particularly, I'd want to see a crossover of our currency strength. Like I really want to see GBP get stronger than like 50. I mean, personally, because GBP has been just tanking everything for days.
Yeah, it has.
So personally, I'd want to see that. I'd want to see this. We all know that when the MACD breaks the 0, it's pretty much the same time it breaks the 50, right?
Yeah.
And we know that crossover kind of happens around the same time the crossover of like the MAs, EMAs. So like all this stuff tells you the same story. It's just a matter of which ones your eyes see better. So you have your parabolic SARS flip. I'm assuming it'll come back down, retrace a little bit. But I mean, CAD JPY didn't. But do you see where the currency strength is on this meter?
Yeah,
GBP
I use the same one. Yeah.
So I don't like that. That's what would make me not take this trade.
Would you wait on it just to wait till GBP gets strength?
Yeah. So you see how this, like, it spread open?
Yeah.
This spread open? I mean, this rejected, but still spread open. Like, you want it to spread open. So the MACD looks good, but if I zoom in on this, sorry, let's make it really big.
Pointing back down, right? Yeah.
So again, it's just that time, and especially with the market being just super uncertain right now, we don't have any major super impacting news events this week. Granted, I'm not an economic expert, but either way, your momentum is now coming down. And the good thing is, when you're looking for a buy, you're not paying attention to what the buyer's line doing. I would get really concerned if the seller's line started coming up. Okay, so if you're buying, if in this case you're selling, right? So you're not really concerned about anything that happens until this points up, okay, until what the buyer's line. So you're looking at the opposite line once you're in the trade. In terms of trade management, the ADX, you're looking at the opposite line. So you take the trade, it says buy, you don't really care that this is coming up and down. You don't care until this starts coming up, right?
Okay.
Just so you have that little tip or trick in terms of the ADX. It's kind of a really useful one. It helps kind of filter out the noise. And whatever one, again, your eyes see better. But what indicators do you have on your screen again?
I have the RSI, the ADX, the stochastic oscillator, I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. The RSI is definitely not above the 50, right?
No, it's not. It's not above the 50. That's why I was waiting on it.
All right, cool. Like if it breaks the 50, so if we just go with basic foundation, fundamental kind of, we can even go here. Let's make it super simple. Chart window. Okay, so we currently have, and just going off the immediate trend, a trend going down. If it breaks, you definitely have a trend.
You wait, right, also till it breaks to 50. Also, I would wait.
But either way, so like if you wanted to catch a pullback to like where the 50 is going to be or to the trend line, that's still a decent possibility. But just know the difference when you're trading. So people are, I get people messaging all the time, well, I was up 17 pips in profit. I made 18K, but then it closed. And that happens all the time. I don't know, I think somebody made $18,000 on a single trade, but then it went against them. So you have to know what kind of trading you're doing. So if you're going with the trend, so this was a downtrend, right?
Right.
So when it broke that, and you can test this just like we do our indicators. When it broke, sorry, really crappy line, but you get the point. When it broke this, notice how we had an actual move where you can get a lot of pips.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, it went against you a little bit. Well, this is a faster mover, but then you got, close to 100 pips. But
Okay.
technically, you could trade this back to the 50. Technically, you can kind of bounce around. We know that it's going to either come somewhere in and around there. If we go to a smaller time frame, same concept. Immediate trend. Well, this is really choppy. This looks like, you know, that kind of double bottom. I don't like how this wicked down personally, but I mean, we did break the 50 on the 15. So any of the scalpers out there would have taken this already, and most of them would have closed in profit, depending on what broker they used.
Yeah.
No, not yet. Yeah, but it's super simple. Just wait.
Yeah, I thought I was doing. I was planning. I'm just waiting on it.
Yeah, GJ is not my friend. I'm not going to fib. I have not been happy with GJ. It just, it moves too much.
Yeah, it does move a lot.
Which is great. Like, if the value of this was higher, so, and it moved a lot, like it'd be fine, but it moves inconsistently and it moves a lot and the value's not higher. So it just feels like one of those kind of pairs. So, but who knows? But awesome. Thank you for your question. All right. Any other questions or charts you guys want to look at? Go back to CAD-JPY.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, DJ? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Hey, could we take a look at the Aussie CAD on the 15-minute?
What strategy?
The 10 pip and flip.
Okay. And what oscillators are you using?
I am using the MACD, the ADX, and the RSI. I can share my screen if that'd be easier.
All right, let's take a look at what you see. I'm going to close my, how do I do that? Stop share. There we go. Now it's on you, guy.
Okay, let me see if I remember how to do this. Where'd you go? Okay. Here we go. Okay, click the share and then can you see mine?
I see your name. I'll give it a second. It's going to lag. Okay. So tell me what you see.
Okay, so where this vertical line is and where the horizontal line is where I got in at. And the reason why I did is because this is actually my big arrow right here. This is the 5 and 13 cross. This is the 8 and 18 cross. And it was under the parabolic SAR. The money tree turned to a buy signal. Had the dots in my favor. MACD was in my favor. At that time, ADX line was pointing up as well as a strong buyer signal. And the RSI was above the 50. So I figured I could take this for 10 pips. But right now, it looks like it's about to go against me because I see another parabolic SAR up here.
Okay, well, first off, we don't, like, how do I say that? So look, see where those 3 downward dots are to the left? It's to the left of that big engulfing candle. Keep going left for a minute. Yeah, keep going. So the 3, stop, go up.
Right here?
Go up.
Right here?
Up, left.
Here?
Uh-huh. You were there. No, go right.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Right here?
So look, what we had is a pullback, right? So price broke the 50. A pullback is very, very common. But here's the deal. So you trusted your analysis. You have these things in confirmation, right? So you have your 50. This is kind of like the now and later plus the flip-flop. So you have a multitude of confirmations. No, the MACD did not break the 0 line. Well, I don't know. You don't have your 0 line on here, but I'm assuming it did not break the 0 line.
It did not break at the time. I was just getting ready to touch it.
Yeah. So it did not technically break, which that's okay. It's not bad. But like we talked about earlier, so your faster entry is like, in your case, where your money tree string line turned blue, the crossover of the MACD, and then that ADX is kind of iffy. I'm not too pleased with it, but let's go to where it really started to spread apart to the left mildly. Oh. Nope, right?
Oh. Right?
Nope. Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go right. Down. See where it started to spread? Left?
Yeah.
So even if you had an earlier entry, you would have got your 10 pips. So RSI broke, MACD crossed, your money tree line turned blue. This is your faster entry like we had talked about. And then your slower, more accurate entry is this 50 break. So, and that's an EMA, right? Not an SMA?
Yes, it's an EMA.
Okay. So how many got in?
It was in my favor a couple pips before I pulled back, but right now it's -2.
But it's also wicking to the downside, which we like. Right?
Right there at the 50. This dotted line is my 50 EMA.
So it's wicking around there, and you have the AA lines or the channels, so it's kind of wicking the center of that channel. I mean, all you can do now is trust your analysis. You don't really have a secret option C.
I guess my thing, I still really gotta get my rules tight about my exit, because I'm still, like, I don't know exactly when I should get out. I think, like, it's just because originally my exit plan was to get out when the money tree turned, but by the time this turn, it could be 15, 20 pips down here, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't personally love that plan. I mean, you can get out when, like, so manually closing a trade.
Uh-huh.
Are you using a stop loss?
Yes, it's right here.
Okay.
And then this is my take profit up here. I like it because it's just below this last resistance.
Okay, so you can, if you manually close trades, you can't keep track of your accuracy very well. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I didn't think about that.
So, like, if you want to find out how accurate you are or how you're doing, manually closing trades won't tell you what percentage hit stop loss.
Gotcha.
That's like, so having an accurate set of rules, I mean, they can be the world's worst rules, but having a good set of rules that you follow consistently for 30 days, I mean, even just a week, you'll know where you can tweak. So yes, in my case, I move my stop loss into profit very, very often, or I'll use a trade manager. Still kind of testing out a couple because they're being a pain in the butt, because it's obviously when you're scalping, it's a tighter trailing stop. So you really got to play with it. But either way, if you're manually messing with your trades, then you will have zero data at the end of the month. So whether or not you made $1 million or you lost $1 million, you can't duplicate that.
Right. I see what you're saying. So it wouldn't mess up my statistics moving my stop loss and the profit, because I'll still be tampering with it. Like, I still wouldn't let the trade
But that
play
counts
out
as
the way.
accuracy for me. Okay, so that's part of my rules. So if my rules are when I am available and typically if I enter a trade, I'm going to be available for a little while. So just in general with how I trade, but either way, so that's part of my rules. So when I go to review my results and find out what my accuracy was, those results were based off of those rules. But like if you're just bouncing it around, or like you're not consistent with where you're putting your stop loss or how big your take profit is, you have no consistent anything, then all you're doing is kind of like playing with money, right? Which can be fun, don't get me wrong, but that is not going to make you six figures.
And that is the goal. So while I have you online, so this right here, technically that would be like another entry just because it bounced off the 20 and the ADX line is still above, like pretty much close to the 40? Or would you wait for that ADX line to point up?
I like how it rejected. Let's see. I don't like how that little 4-hour dot appeared up there.
Well, this is actually 1 hour dots.
Oh, that's right, 1 hour dots. So I'm not too fond of that. It doesn't mean it can't bust through it. But yes, so you can have a set of rules for reentry. One indicator is not enough if you're asking me. Because that's still one indicator. Now, so it broke the 50, you have your triple arrows, you have X amount of confirmations. So one indicator saying, hey, this is good, doesn't tell me I can take another entry. Now, however, if the MACD kind of crossed over the 0 with momentum, I would take another entry. And the ADX rejected like that, and the RSI was pointing up, like, think of peak. So what a peak would look like. I mean, your RSI is kind of thick, so it might be a little harder to see the peaks. But when you see the peak and you see all these other confirmations, or you see a momentum candle, or like if it broke this previous level. So like for instance, if this candle busted up past those 1 hour, closed above the entry candle that you entered in on, and I was happy with that, then yeah, sure, I would take another entry if I had X amount of confirmations based off of the chart and the strategy I'm using, right?
Okay.
Typically that one would be less pips, okay, or with a tighter stop. So even with this trade that you're currently in, I would have put my stop, you see at that previous buy sell line to the left?
Right here.
Yeah. How many pips is that? What's the difference?
Let's see. I can't see because this is in the way. 1 second.
I saw it. It's like 10 pips, give or take.
Okay. Yeah. So originally, I mean, it was down here at a 18. I just wanted to give it room to breathe, and I was planning on moving it up once it went in my favor about 7 pips. So, but I'll
Gotcha.
adjust that now.
I mean, so it's just about keeping a good risk reward ratio, but you've got to have sound rules that you follow. And then from there, so even if you came back like in a week and said, hey, my accuracy is only 60%, which has yet to happen with anybody I've worked with personally. It's like nobody I've worked with personally came back and said, hey, my accuracy was 50%. Most of them have said 70, 80, and even 90%. And let's assume the worst here. Let's go off of the worst case scenario. So let's say you came back with a 60% accuracy. At least we would know what caused that accuracy. But if you're inconsistent in what you're doing, we're not going to have anything to tweak. We're going to be, shooting in the dark.
Okay.
There's no way to improve. If that makes sense. At least I'm kind of big on that. Not because I'm some expert. I'm just really good at, okay, these are my rules. I'm going to follow them religiously, and I'm going to say, okay, that's enough, and go from there. So.
And see, that's my thing. I thought I was pretty good with my rules. I mean, these are all my confirmations.
Why are you sitting here? Why are you tripping? Why are you doubting yourself?
Oh, because there's real money on the line.
Okay. Well,
and before it was all demos up until now, so maybe that's why. I don't know.
But that's the psychology. So any of one of us can turn a demo account into 6 and 7 figures. Like, that's easy. And then of course it didn't take any emotion. But when you see $500 of your real dollars on the line, that takes some white hairs coming out, right? People are white knuckling their desk and chucking their phone, and right, it's crazy. But you have to be able to manage yourself. So you took this trade based off of your entries. I don't know what the 1 hour and the 4 hour and the 30-minute we're doing on this trade, but either way, let's say you took a good entry.
Another 1 hour was confirmed. I can look at that right now if you want.
Okay, sure.
Because I saw it was pulling back up here, and at that time, well, I guess it wasn't really that confirmed. Now that I'm looking at it.
No, it's fine. And these are regular candles, right?
Yes.
You don't have a bad entry. So it broke below the 50 and came back up and kind of retested it. Now it's making a doji. It's got a wick to the 50 on the 1 hour, which I like. Like, no trades are guaranteed, but sitting here freaking out about it isn't going to help you.
Right.
Do you believe in manifesting, or like The Secret, and there's a whole
I watched The Secret actually a couple times last week.
I love that. I know it's a little cheesy, and I'm still very godly in terms of, like, I believe in God, but you got to realize that you're drawing negative energy to you. You just imagine that force field around you, okay? Like, all you're doing is just drawing it towards you. You have no control over what happens with this trade now. So you can go look for the next setup, see what's setting up, kind of keep your eye on it, but look for the next setup and have faith. That's all you've got. So you took a decent entry. I think you got in a bit late on that candle, but then again, this is a slow mover. So, I mean, how big is the candle you entered in on?
Well, I think this is mainly the spread, because as soon as this candle ended, that's when I got in. But this candle is only four pips long.
Wow, that looks way bigger, huh?
Yeah, it's just zoomed in. But so I got in from the base of the last one to where I actually got in was like 1.6 pips. Because, I mean, this is as soon as I could get in.
Okay, well, it's consolidating. We're in Asian market. Of course, this is an Australian pair, so in all fairness, it should be moving. It doesn't mean it will be moving. But now your job is to click open a new chart, start looking for your next setup. Okay, check, your currency strengths, check your news, double check with whatever other indicators or websites you use, and move along. Because staring at this trade is only going to mess with your emotions and your mind. So whether you win or lose, is this going to stop you from hitting your first 6 figures?
No.
So move along.
Will do.
Sorry.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, Jenny.
You're welcome.
Do I just click the stop share and then go back to you?
Yeah, and then I'll have to click reshare and all that other good jazz.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Does anybody else have a screen they want me to look at before I reshare my screen? Anybody at all? It would be nice to kind of analyze your trade. So if you're messaging me or Pat and saying, hey, I took a losing trade, tell me real quick so we can take a look at it. It's not about being wrong. It's not about making you feel bad. It's just about being able to take a look and say, okay, how can we become a better trader? What can we do moving forward to take a safer entry? Or, you know, some trades we're going to lose no matter what.
Okay. Hi, Jenny. How you doing?
Fantastic. And yourself?
Great, thanks. It's Angela. I was looking at EUR USD on the 1 hour and the 15 minutes. If you could take a look at it for me, please.
Which strategy?
Well, I'm using the ADX and the MACD.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it that it's a Stairmaster.
Okay. Let's see, wait for this to catch up here.
Okay, let me go back to you.
Okay, so you're looking at it on the 15-minute time frame, right?
Yeah, I started on the 1 hour. And then I'm looking at the 15 minutes for an entry on a sell. I'm not sure.
Okay, I like that trade. I mean, Wednesday, so today is Tuesday. So how many hours until news? I mean, we broke the 50 and we consolidated around it, but then we broke below it.
Mm-hmm.
So everything my indicators are telling me on my screen currently, I like it. So here's what I see, right? We have some support and resistance dots, but that's okay. We broke the 50 with momentum, and then we came back up, retested it. This was a news candle. If anybody was active during that time, that was news. So it bounced around, that's fine, it retested, and now it's kind of consolidating. If you want the safest entry, you can wait till it breaks out of here. Okay. When it breaks out of here, you've got a very, very easy 30 pips, okay? Without any stress or worry, you've got a very easy 30 pips that should be real easy to get. It might stall out somewhere around here before it gets there. But 30 pips would be too easy to get, even from where price currently is now. Because look, we've got our US dollars kind of not sure what it wants to do yet, but your euro is definitely going down. It's going down below the 40, which we like to see. We broke below the 0 line of the MACD crossover, and of course we have a lot of selling power, so that's going up. And we don't have any indication this is turning around. So, and if you guys remember what I said about this peak usually happens, if you think about this in terms, you know, in perspective, when this peak happened, notice how big this is, right? This is a pretty powerful move. But up here, notice how this is not a powerful move. So if you're, the way I see the ADX is it's almost mildly predictive. This is a tiny move, and then it made a big move down. It's almost predictive of what's coming. So 11 pip versus 65 pips. You see that? And so what's happening here? So again, we're moving up really with a lot of force. So a momentum move of some kind is coming. Do we know for sure what? Nope. Do we know when? Nope. But that's just kind of how I see the ADX.
Oh, so do you think I should wait until when it passed the 4 hour right there?
This is the 1 hour. And let me go to the 15-minute chart real quick. So on the 1 hour, this looks really choppy. I don't like that at all. But we know that this was news.
Yeah.
So I mean, knowing that, so on the 15-minute chart, what do we see? We see our little arrow, our 5 and 13 cross down is the most recent one. Parabolic stars, depending on how your chart is set up, obviously. ADX is still looking good, and the momentum is facing up. The MACD has a crossover to return to the downside. And again, our euro is getting weaker, but US dollar is kind of, it's playing around. We don't know for sure what it's going to do, and anything to do with the US dollar is very like that at the moment. The only thing that would make me apprehensive is these wicks. But how many pips do you want to go for?
Not sure.
Okay, well, part of your rules and part of your strategy, you should be sure.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you're trying to swing trade, anybody who's like super madly swing trading in the summer should definitely have some experience and some knowledge, because right now for the summer, price is moving left and right. It's not a clear direction, not a lot of volume. So let me go to the 4 hour real quick. Hold on, let it load if it will decide to. I mean, so if you're swing trading, that's different. But if you're doing anything but swing trading, you should know how many pips you're going for.
Oh, okay.
So even on this, I mean, 30 to 60 pips would be a really safe bet.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know for sure what the US dollar is going to do, because the US dollar is very controversial at the moment, as anybody would know. Like, and I don't follow it a lot. Trust me, I don't even know a lot at all. But it's a very controversial thing right now. So my bias is this is going to sell. And my belief it will bust through this.
Okay.
But do I know when, or do I know for sure? No. But could you safely get enough pips with everything lining up to put down 10 pips, you know, if you're trying to cover your spread? Absolutely. If you're trying to go for the 1 hour, could you get enough pips? Yeah. I think you could average about 30 pips.
Okay. All right.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Next question, guys.
Hey Jenny,
Hey, Connie, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Wonderful.
Good. On the currency relative strength, how do you make it just two? I mean, I have different colors of mine. How do you make it just coming up as two?
Only show current pairs. True.
Oh, okay. So you have to make a change there. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I see.
And again, we've tested out, me and a couple of friends have tested out quite a few of these. Some people have some really fancy, fancy airplane mode looking ones. I like this one. I like how it works in general. So I like this one a lot.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. Let's see, that was the question also in the chat. Next question, or a pair you went over, or a trade you took, or something you want to look at for this week?
Okay, I have another question. Like on the chart you're in right now, this chart. Now the dot on the dot, excuse me. Oh, it's not this. I thought this was the triple arrow system. How do you know if it's the dot it's closed? Usually I get confused on the triple system. Which one is is that the triple system?
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Okay.
it's kind of a mess. But yes.
Me with the parabolic stars is confusing me there. But I'm talking about the support and the resistant dots. How do you know that the candle is already closed, or it's the next candle that it's referring to? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, so if this is set to be a 4 hour dot,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's take a look, let's verify it. I'm pretty sure, but this is 4 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you live in what time zone?
Central.
Central. So at 4 p.m., well, hold on, I might mess this up. Lord, forgive me. So at 4 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, 12 midnight Central Time, 4 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Central Time, 12 a.m. Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the times you need to know. Like, you should have those written on your desk.
Okay.
That's what times it closes. So those are the new 4 hour candles.
Okay, so the dot appears after the fact. Is that correct? The dot shows up after the fact. Let's say it's if it's 4 o'clock here, so there'll be a dot for the 4 o'clock dot, and then the candle will close.
No. So technically, the dots can appear first. So technically, if price is stalling out at a certain point, I don't know particular exactly, and I don't want to misguide you guys, but the dots can appear prior to the close of any 4 hour candle or any 1 hour candle. And you got to think on this 1 hour candle, this is 3 4-hour candles. Well, this is probably 4 4-hour candles. This is 3 4-hour candles. So, I mean, the answer is no. But what we're trying to teach you, and what Pat was trying to teach you, I believe, is that once that candle closes, it's a lot more stable. It's a lot less likely to be busted through, like at least in that candle. So again, let's go to the 4-hour just to kind of show you. This is not ready to buy yet, whoever's trying to buy this. Let's see. Let me go to the 4-hour, if it will. My systems are majorly lagging. Okay, so on the 4-hour, this has 3 dots. I'm going to zoom out just to kind of show you. Notice how there's a lot less dots on the 4-hour than there are like on the 1-hour. So price stalled here. And if you had waited for this candle to close, okay, if you waited for this candle to close, that dot is a lot more stable. If you just listen to the dots prior to this candle closing, then it's a lot less stable. So the odds of it repainting are much higher. Because this could be one, but if it closed above it, see how that would have disappeared? And then it would be here. So same concept. But once candles close, enough candles close, again, I don't know exactly how it's programmed, but price can obviously break through. But the thing is, it was right for enough pips to matter. It was right for enough pips, and that's really all you're trying to do. You're not trying to be right forever, especially not in summer, not until the end of August, and then you've only got a couple months until, you know, the whole holiday season kicks in. But so price stalls out, right? It kind of breaks below here, but it stalls out enough candles that this becomes stable. That's what makes this not repaint. So when these 4-hour candles close, these become stable. And then it was right for enough pips. That's all that we're trying to amplify. I mean, in any direction. And again, all this is support and resistance. So just like anything else, any Elliott wave indicator, any other, you know, buy, sell lines, support and resistance, supply, demand, they're all very accurate. It does not mean price can't bust through it. And it doesn't make them bad. That just tells you, hey, check out this area. That's all.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Hey, Lawrence. Look at gold. Gold is going to be tripping. Is it still buying, or is it just consolidating today? I haven't.
No,
gold.
gold's just been ranging all day today. But yesterday it was on a buy trade, and I took advantage of it. Today I just stayed out of it because I noticed it was ranging. Like it went as high as 14.30, then it went down to where it is right now. Went back up to 14.25. So it's just been in that malaise. So.
Don't ask me how I did that. Sorry. Let's try this again. Yeah, again, my bias, like, what was it last week? Everyone was like, oh, we're going to sell gold. I said, don't sell gold. Because we know that it's kind of still going up.
Hello?
It doesn't make us right. It doesn't make us an expert. We just know there's a lot of economic uncertainty. And when that happens, gold's going up. I mean, that's fundamental. So we're on the 1-hour chart. What do you see? Are you looking to buy it again, or are you looking for sells?
No, I'm just saying. My overall is still gonna go up, just because I just think fundamentally there's just a lot of news going on with the U.S. So I'm just saying it's just gonna go up. But I was just seeing if you agree with my bias. I haven't done any analysis on it today. Just general overall sentiment is it's gonna be bullish, even though it's going down right now.
Well, it's breaking below the 0 line, and I mean, ADX is definitely saying sell. There's big momentum coming.
Yeah.
I probably see the same thing you do. This right here, this candlestick pattern is a reversal candlestick pattern.
Yeah, railroad track. I see it.
But the thing is, this technically counts as that reversal, right?
Right.
So it already reversed 160 pips.
Right.
So now what it does, notice it didn't break the 50 with any momentum. It just kind of did a maybe baby, right?
No.
Right.
And of course, we've got those buy sell dots. Those are 4-hour support. And if we look back in history, I mean, this is the broker gap. It's not an actual gap. But look back in history. When price kind of consolidates around the 50, it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It takes the break like with some power. So until it breaks with some power or decides what it's going to do, I'm guessing it's going to consolidate and wait for some big news event to push it one direction or another.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just think in general. So yesterday hit as high, I think, as 1440 or so. And I got out of it way early. I mean, I got to satisfy my pips. But again, today I just decided to take a break on it, just wait, and just see what it does. It hasn't really done anything. And then go down a little bit. It's a
Okay. One question.
Hey, Jemiah?
Yeah,
yes, my question, Jennifer. I appreciate it.
yeah, you sent one about good job with the
Hold up, guys. I'm going to have to mute this guy. He's like totally having a conversation.
yeah.
Yeah, he is. Totally, for real.
There was one question I want to ask. So
Are you
someone came up to me like 10 minutes ago and asked if they could stay the night. Is that okay?
I'm really trying to mute him, guys. Okay. Well, I hope that he has a sleepover. Anyways, Lawrence, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I would wait until you see some power. Like right now, we wicked down. Again, that was news. We really can't count that as any value in terms of what price is doing. Now, if this was a wick just because it was a candle and this wasn't news induced, I would say, okay, we're looking for it to go back up. But now we know this was news induced. So, I mean, this is not a powerful break. We've got support here. So the sell looks a little iffy. But I mean, could it sell down even for a mild retracement for a while? Absolutely. But would I bet my house on this? Nope. Not even close.
And the way gold moves, it can move 100 pips easy, just like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel you in that one. Just a quick reminder, NZD news breaks at 9 o'clock or in 20-some minutes for those of you in NZD.
Yeah, how many of you guys are in NZD pairs right now? Anybody at all? Well, NZD has been super powerful all day long. So do we think the news is going to push it up? This is an interest rate decision, so this should move the market. But it also means it's going to move the Australian market as well. So if you're in any AUD or NZD pairs, thank you for that, Lauren. If you're in any NZD pairs, then definitely, or odd pairs, Australian pairs, you might want to take a look at that.
Hey Jenny, I have a pair I kind of want to look at.
Yes, sir.
Can you go to the CAD Swiss on the daily?
Yep.
You have the daily dots in here now.
There we go. The daily dots. I don't have the daily dots on here, no.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask about.
But I can put them on there. So CHF on the daily. Again, we know CHF is going to be totally crazy. CHF has been obnoxiously strong. So what is it you're seeing?
Wait, are those the daily dots?
These are 4 hour. Do you want me to put the daily on?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Okay. Bear with me. Well, I know what I'm looking for in theory, always in theory. Okay. Day one. Allow. Okay, so what is it you see?
Okay, well, I was talking to someone in the group chat before, and I've done this little strategy thing, I guess you could call it. And basically, on the second dot, you get in, like in the direction of the dots, if it's matched with the 4 hour. And that usually moves around 90 to 100 pips. And it's, I mean, moves pretty often, honestly.
On what pair?
CAD Swiss, the pair you're
Only
on.
on CAD Swiss.
Well, you can use it on, there's a couple other pairs, I don't know about the top of my head, but it moves like pretty good. Like you'll get in on the second candle and you'll go to the 4 hour. If like the arrows are pointing the same direction as the dots, you basically take it, and it usually moves for like anywhere from 70 to 120, 140 pips.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's a strategy I use that's kind of like that for the day chart. But you can totally do that. I mean, on any pair, just especially if you're avoiding news, right?
Yeah.
And that's a really, so if you're doing it this way, you live in the Pacific time zone, right?
That's central.
Oh, Central, sorry.
Not-
I try to remember, but that's a lot of people. So that means you'd be checking it like at 3:30 your time to see
Yeah.
where this candle's about to close. So you check it like the 30 minutes before the daily candle closes, go off of the average daily range, okay? And if you know the direction it's going, how many days are you holding it for?
Just basically into either an opposing dot or opposing 4-hour arrow. So 4, 5 days, 3 days, depends how long the daily dots last.
Huh.
So like on this one, I probably would have got on a purple dot. I wouldn't have gone on a green dot.
Well, yeah, see, because that daily dot would have told
Yeah.
us that this was selling here.
Yeah. And I would have just wrote it down, kept an eye on it, and then I would have got in there. And I would have just held it the whole way. And my stop loss would be above the daily dots. So I'm risking like, what, 50 pips, give or take?
On this one, yeah, because this one's not a fast mover. But let's try this. My favorite pair is GU, okay? It's just super easy. It trends really well. So let's try that here. Same concept. And even if you wanted to make it super, super simple, it's very easy to do.
It is very easy to do.
Especially if you add just a little bit more confirmation. Pick something that your eyes see well. Sorry guys, my internet is so lagging right now. Okay, so we're on the 4-hour. Pick one of these setups. Well, yeah, we're on the 4-hour. Daily. Okay. Super, super laggy. I like the concept, but I would set an alert for like the crossovers.
Yeah.
So let's say we got these dots, right? We know because they're red and, wait a minute, have you seen any, oh, the green ones are, okay, let's fix that.
And it's a pretty good strategy. In 1 week, I think I took like 2 trades. I think something like that. Each one went to like 130, 140.
Boom. So these are daily, and 4-hour. If you notice, it's very rare for you to get dots that aren't also 4-hour.
Yeah.
Because it has to be 4-hour if it's stalled at the daily. It has to be at least a few 4 hours, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so pick a random one. Let's pick this one. If we got the daily dots, because this is what I would do. I keep it super simple. We got the daily dots. We check to see if it was there. And I would literally just take it for the ADR. Hey, somebody is talking. Don Varlam?
Yes.
I can hear your background noise. I'm sorry.
How do I turn that off? Oh, I see. Sorry.
There you go. If you have a question, by all means, you can unmute yourself. But if you're not talking, if you could keep your line muted, it makes it everyone can learn a lot more. So, like for instance, let's take this one, which we know probably would not have been with the 4 hours, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
This is what I wish people would understand. Let's say you saw it on either of these 2 days. Technically, you should have saw it here. Let's go off of this one. Bottom line is, if you entered in, because you would have entered this candle before this candle closed. So your worst entry would have been somewhere around here, here you waited. Either way, you're above the 50, we're looking for a buy. You would have had drawdown, but you easily would have gotten half of the ADR. And then there's very little risk, and it doesn't matter what direction it's going at all. Trading just off the daily. So
Yeah.
I would do something like that, but a little bit different in terms of rules. So just checking the chart like at 2 o'clock my time, obviously never the right time to trade. So you have to decide if you want the swap fee or you want the higher spread. You got to pick your poison there. But same concept on any of these candles. You would see this. This one is kind of closing above. But drop, because these are selling dots, we'd look for a sell. And to sell it, on the next candle, because that's when we're getting in, we easily got our pips. And you can choose if you want to hold it, like for instance, you hold it as long as it stays below the 8, or you can say, okay, 2 times the ADR. I'm not super big into holding trades these days. There's too much uncertainty. But again, same thing here. So you got, the odds are you had several 4-hour candles, 4-hour support dots right here, and then it turned into a daily dot, right? So this doesn't have enough confirmations. Like for me at this point, it's just still a little bit too far. But either way, if I kept my eye on it, and let's say I enter the next day, I easily got my pips.
Yeah, you would have.
No matter which direction it's going. So we keep flipping out of time zones because we hear these multimillionaires tell us that. And for some people, it really works. I know a guy, he's like the trigger finger guy. I think that was his nickname. But he's super great at going to the tiny, super tiny time frames to find the best entry. And that's fantastic for him. But for most of us, like depending on our lifestyles, going to every time frame, even for myself, because I'm still human, it messes me up. It messes me up to constantly be like, hold on, let me reply to this. Real quick. It's my family. And they're all sad that I'm leaving. So I've got more messages from my family in the last few weeks than I've gotten in the last, I don't know, 10 years. Okay. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to worry about that
Yeah.
at all. Let's see. Gotcha. Okay. It's the same concept. You can keep this very simple. So at the 3 o'clock time frame, if you knew there wasn't any news coming up for the next 3 days, you have to create a rule that's sustainable for this pair, and you had certain rules. You would have to either speed this up or slow this down accordingly because it has to work for you. But either way, so let's say you didn't want to take this candle, you didn't like where it closed. You very easily could have waited till you had a better crossover on the MACD, till you had a nicer anything. I mean, this is harder to use on the daily. It's kind of strange how that works if you're asking me, but either way, you can easily get, and this is checking the charts once a day, no worry about what anything else is doing. Look for a few confirmations and go in the direction of the dots. Your accuracy ratio will be close to 80%. 80%. That's why anybody, like, once you get some rules down, nobody's coming to me with this, hey, I only averaged 50% last week. That's not possible if you followed any rules. Because you can literally just like flip a coin, buy or sell, and be right 50% of the time. So if you're following any percentage of rules, you should be right much closer to 60 or 70, even for a newbie. So
Yeah, the rules is what really helped me out a lot. Like, I used to lose a lot more trades than what I used to win.
now, do you have a way to stop trading though?
Oh yeah, I mean, I limit myself to 3 losses a day, which I never do hit. Like, I hardly ever hit that. But if I ever do,
How many wins? How many wins do you limit yourself to?
What do you mean? Like, how many wins do I stop myself at?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I usually just go for a goal that I want to hit that day, and that's it.
Okay. But like, so if you've taken 5 trades, do you stop trading?
More than likely, because I don't want to get too excited and then go off balance or go off track.
Or give the money back that the market just gave you? That's my thing. So I have to have a set of rules. Like if I've hit this many pips or I've hit this many trades, I don't care if it's, you know, anything aside from Jesus himself and a burning bush, I'm not taking a trade. I'm just not. So definitely, but I like that. So what you guys are doing, just to clarify for the class, is you're getting the dots. Obviously, you have 4-hour dots to confirm that. You're dropping down to the 4-hour. If the direction is in the same as the 4-hour, you take the trade. Right?
Right.
And then let it ride or go for like 2 to 3 times the ADR, or what's your next step?
Wait, are you asking me?
Yep, I'm asking you.
Oh, well, I mean,
I'm just
basically
asking for the class, so yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I usually just enter there, and I just keep an eye on the 4-hour and the daily charts. I mean, you come in profit by next morning, you should be in profit, or at least that's what happens to me. And I'll just basically just follow into getting a Bollinger or separate resistance or something. Just dot to dot, basically what I do, just to keep it simple.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of play in that. So I mean, this one would have been against the 4-hour. just so you know. But look, you would have won it by a lot.
Yeah, you would have.
That's just how I see the market, though. So if you have enough confirmations, so like take away the big arrow and let's say, okay, we have 4-hour support, daily support, little arrow, 5 and 13 cross, 8 and 18 cross, and let's just go off of right here. Let's keep it super simple.
Yeah, your ADX also crossed.
ADX crossed back here, which is nice. But you have the crossover, and now you're kind of getting closer to breaking the zero line. So again, trading is super simple. It's just a matter of having discipline and following rules to make it happen. If you want a carefree way to trade, so what Edward's saying, like that is carefree. It's super carefree. It's probably a little more work than I'm willing to do. Like I'm willing to follow extreme rules to find my trade, but I'm not willing to go to 50 time frames to find it. Like for me, I would probably go to the 1 hour and see if I liked it. So here, let's pick another one just to show you on a pair that I actively trade. And let's be super realistic here. Well, this is the day chart, do I? That's not going to work. But I'll go to the exact time that I actively look at the charts too. So when I look for setups, I'm looking at a certain time. So I know that I can find 3 to 5 trades. And in terms of my long-term trading account, yeah, but I'm not going for a lot of pips even on that one. I'm not letting a lot of them run because it's that whole runner thing is a little bit scary. So let's go with the not perfect setup. Smaller move, less dots. Let's go with this one, yeah? Smaller move, less dots, uncertainty. Well, that's a big move. That doesn't count. Let's make it a little harder on us, not easier. Delete. Pick one of these.
I'm pretty certain you click any dot and you'll be on profit. It's a really safe strategy in my opinion.
Any dot. That's my point, is any dot. So you got the dot here. We'll go to the 1 hour. If I were to check another time frame, it would be the 1 hour probably, just because of who I am. And I would want to see what the market is doing if I had enough confirmations. But trying to confirm on all time frames is like asking for a heartache. It's just too much. Okay. It might let me. Might not. That is really choppy with all them. Wow, that's ugly. Okay, but either way, you guys get the point. Any one of these moves, it would have happened. Any one of these. Just to go for 50 pips, 1-to-1 ratio. Find 2 trades a day, it's 100 pips a day, 10 to 20%. Because you're getting so many pips, you don't have to worry about going for too many percent or like a super high percent that's going to risk your account. 50 pips a day. Where there's a daily dot and a 4-hour dot. Enough other confirmations on whatever time frame you choose. But don't try to trade off the daily and then set your take profit or your stop loss on the 15-minute time frame. Because that is not enough room for it to move. If you're trading off the daily, you need a daily size stop loss, which most people freak out about, especially on a GBP pair, because that would be like a 100 pip stop loss, give or take.
Yeah, it moves a lot, GBP.
Oh, I love GBP. I entered EuroCAD this morning, and I had like, I don't know, 5 or 6 other trades hit take profit, and that one finally closed after I paid the swap fee, like after, like I don't know, but it was insane. I was like, that took 12 hours. That was insane. Insane. So.
Got any EuroCAD?
Yeah.
What strategy?
Flip-flop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been mostly doing that primarily because my schedule, my inability to manage longer trades. And then I've started checking the charts like before the close of the market to see if I see anything in a different account. So my whole 1 hour and 4 hour strategy account, my bigger account, I'm kind of holding off on that because so 2 weeks ago was NFP. Last week was an insane amount of news, which pretty much limited most pairs. So I think there was 1 pair last week and then 1 pair the week before that. So with that being said, I couldn't really do that whole pick 4 pairs thing and then just let them run. So I kind of went to the daily, and that's what I'm doing now for that bigger account, just picking a trade or 2 a day if I see them. If not, I skip it, and it works out pretty well.
I've noticed you have your 8 and 18 on the 1 hour and 4. You have it on all time frames, don't you?
I do. Well, again, guys, I'm kind of living in between suitcases and boxes, so I'm hooked up on so many devices. My money tree string line is not available on those devices. Like, it's just not available. So I need something that I can consistently see for the most part from my phone, my tablet, because even a lot of these places, like just driving back and forth, I can't always get into my VPS with enough time to click through the charts and do everything I got to do. So there goes GN. It's dropping hard. Nice. Let's see. Oh yeah. You could easily get another 10, 20 pips out of that, even after spread. See how we have the NZD is facing up, Euro GBP is still down, it's still below the 40. We're looking like we have a crossover way below on the volume of the MACD, clean crossover on the ADX, a lot of momentum in the market. And aside from the arrows, we closed above the 8, but we couldn't close above the 18, and now we're going back down. So we're still making lower lows. Definitely still making lower lows. But that's probably that NZD news, though. What time is it now, guys? Let's see.
Yeah, news about to come out.
Uh-oh. Be careful. What time is it exactly? Sorry, I don't have my...
It's 8:59 my time, Central.
Yep, that'll do it. Let's see what this does with the news. And then we will jump off. Is there any other pairs or questions anybody has? Anybody at all? Hey, this guy who keeps stepping up asking questions, like he's super young, but he's getting like super amazing results because he's on these calls asking questions non-stop, like constantly learning and improving. So if y'all have a question. Hey, Hot Rod.
So, hey, good afternoon. So for this pair, the GN, news is pushing it down into a sell. Would you wait to get in as a buy for the reverse, or just grab it for another 10 pips or so? I see that the ADX is crossed, so looks like it's going, and it's still as a sell. Looks like a pretty powerful sell. I see that.
You see what's happening right now?
I just missed it. Never mind.
That's just news playing with us, guys. There's nothing we can do about that. Nothing at all. That's strange that didn't come up. It's pushed right back down. You see how many, this pair moves fast, so this one candle, 60 pips. Way more. Now, see, after like this right here, you're going to have to wait for the market to tell you what it's going to do. So yes, technically, GBP, so look at what happened with this. Like if we did this on an instant replay, this was perfectly up, this was perfectly down, and now in hindsight, you can't even tell that, can you? Well, this is a different time frame in all fairness, okay. But either way, this is ugly, super ugly. Ugly, nope. What would you guys do? You see how it wicked to the top? Let me check my chat. Thank you, John. We looked at gold. Okay. Wow. This looks like it's still going to be trying to sell. Like after it's all said and done. Like they use it as a reason to knock out the buyers. But again, I'm not an expert. That's just what I'm seeing. We'll see what happens once the news actually releases. Because technically they have like 30 minutes to an hour. Is there somebody else on here? Sorry, hold on.
Yeah, hey Jenny, how you doing? It's Jenny.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good, doing good. Hey, I'm looking at GCAD. I put in a micro lot on my other account.
This is about to break the trend. So let's look at GCAD. I like this for the sell.
That's NZD.
Yep. It's pulled around. Okay, so I'm on GCAD. What time frame? What strategy?
A flip flop.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Flip flop.
Okay. And what is it you see? Oh, here, I can put the parabolic stars back on. Hold on. Somebody's got some crazy microphone noise. So if you're not okay, can you guys mute yourself? Pretty please.
Yeah, I was seeing it as I was seeing that as a correction that I was going to retest at 50.
The market is moving now.
I was looking at for a retest at 50 for the continuation.
So for a continuation, up or down?
Down.
Hmm. Okay, what indicators? Well, we talked today. So you have the MACD, right?
Yes.
You have the ADX, RSI,
Yes.
the money tree string line, right?
Yes.
50 moving average. What else do you have on your chart?
372.
Oh, 372, that's right. Where is it at in relation to that?
Looking at your chart. Bringing it up now.
I'm bringing it up to you. Let's make it, nope, not yellow. Let's make it blue. No.
Yeah, I see on the 5 minute.
Oh, you're using the 5 minute. That's okay. Well, this is a faster mover, so that technically qualifies, right?
Yes, ma'am.
5 minutes really fast, so it's going to trip you out a lot of times.
Okay, so let's try to look at the 15 then.
That's you. It's got to be your choice. You got to create your rules based off of. So again, you turned your account from like, well, what did we decide? Like a 700 or 800% growth in 7 trading days, right?
Roger.
What you did during those 7 to 10 or 7 trading days to achieve those results, you have to follow the rules that work for you. They can't be just from me. So if you like the 5 minute, great. I mean, I think it's a bit fast. I'm sorry, it's kind of loading. Give it a second, but yeah. Okay. So this looks choppy as all can be on the 5 minute, right?
Yes.
This doesn't look like something you want to enter. This looks like it's flat, like it doesn't know what it's doing at all.
Right. Well, I've been in it since yesterday. I got in at 1.67870.
167 for a sell or a buy?
Yeah, wholesale.
167870.
1.67870.
Oh, so you're holding this trade
Roger.
and you're in profit.
Yes.
Okay, so what are your management rules?
Well, I've already moved it in profit, and I was just letting it run. I was just looking at just the long term of it, and for re-entry.
So again, so I'm going to say the same thing 1,000 times, even when I mess up myself, right? So your rules are what for re-entry? What rules do you have for re-entry for your strategy? So you have so many combinations, right? I mean, so
Right. It has to break the RSI under the 40. The MACD is already under the MACD, and the ADX has to cross over the 25, and the red line has to cross over the 25.
Okay, so is it meeting those rules yet?
No, we're there. It's like a consolidation right now.
Okay.
It's like tight. It's like real tight right now.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's kind of choppy, but I don't trade off that time frame. Like, so on the 1 hour, which as you guys know, I kind of stick to the 1 hour, or at this point the daily instead of the 1 hour and 4 hour. I mean, I'll do the flip-flop method a lot, and it works really well. But on the 1 hour, let's go back. it's still like super unclear. So our MACD isn't decided in terms of a direction. This, I like how it's open, and of course I would take it back here like on the clean cross, but right now there's not enough momentum for me to say yes, it's worth taking. So, and you've got your 4-hour dots. And like Edward was just saying, those dots alone, if you combine them with the daily dots and just go for a set amount of pips, it's too easy. So I wouldn't be looking at this point for that. Like I would finish selling it down or go ahead and apply your trailing stop, because right now you're up, what, 50, 60 pips?
Yes.
Okay. So how many of those pips do you definitely want to close this trade with?
Oh, I want to snatch everything I can out the market. I mean, I've already secured. I've already moved my stop loss in the profit for 20 pips.
Okay.
And I was just having a 20 pips. I was doing like, I think it was what? I think I had 20 pip trailing on it.
Okay. Well, 20 pips isn't a lot on GBP, so that should knock you out. And if it keeps going, great. And you can move it up manually. Like since you live in a different time zone, like you'll be up for a while, so you can totally do that.
Okay.
But good job on that trade. You must have taken that, because I don't know if you were in that earlier today.
Yeah, I was on that on my bigger account.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I play with my bigger account, but I got to get this other account that I screwed up back one point.
What is GBP NZD do now? Does anybody else have any major questions, charts, or trades you guys want me to look at? Oopsie.
Thank you.
You are welcome, Jamie.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Edward. How's it going?
You're pretty good. So I believe it was the other Edward that was talking about the daily chart. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once again, I'm sorry. He said it was to look on the daily chart and to jump in on the second daily dot or the 4-hour dots.
Hey, Edward. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so the way he was saying, him and a buddy were doing it, and again, you have to find your own way. Maybe he can kind of step up and tell you what he said, just to get clarification. And if you guys want to write this down, you guys should. So he's having some major success, but also something, please test and demo. Don't hold him accountable if you take a loss. That's a lot of pressure, okay?
I won't.
Okay, go ahead, Edward.
Can you go to Cat Swiss so I could show him an example?
No.
All right. Once.
Nope. Are there any other pairs other than Cat Swiss, or you just only like Cat Swiss for this, right?
Well, I mean, that one's pretty simple. Let me see, there's more. You could look at GBP USD if you want it, or anything.
But what made you decide Cat Swiss? Is that maybe the better question?
Well, that was the first pair I tested that strategy on, and okay. I think I took like 7 winning trades in a row. No, it wasn't 7. I think it was like 4 winning trades I took in a row.
Okay. So sorry about the lag, gentlemen. Go ahead. Now you talk. You want remote control? I don't know. Well, that would really make it lag. So you're going to have to talk, and then I'll control it. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so tell them what you were doing.
So basically, I see a daily dot, which is yellow in my charts, like her charts also. And I wait for the candle to close. And if it has a second dot, I drop down to the 4-hour. Yeah, like right there. Right there. I go to the 4-hour. And if it's in the same direction as the daily dots are telling me, I'll take it and I'll just hold it into opposing arrows or opposing dots. Pretty simple.
Okay, cool.
I mean, it's really, really simple.
It's still loading for the 4 hours, gentlemen. Sorry about that. 1 second.
So you just wait for the second dot on the daily?
Yeah, it's pretty smart to wait for a second dot in my opinion.
Awesome. And you wait for the candle to close on that second dot?
No, I wait for the candle to close on the first dot, and then I'll get in on. As soon as the second dot comes in, I'll get in on that.
Awesome, thanks.
So like on this one right here, it had support. It was green. I would not get into that. I would wait to I saw purple support. The purple, yeah, I would have got in there, and I would have just held it into opposing arrows or opposing dots.
Awesome.
So this had the 4-hour support. We still have daily, and you don't want the drawdown, right?
Yeah, no, I would have waited.
Hey, I have a question about that strategy.
Go ahead.
This is DJ. So when you look for the opposing dots, do you actually wait for the 2 dots at least before you get out of it, or you just wait for that first dot to appear?
I get out on the first dot.
So you wait for the candle close on that first dot, or as soon as you see it?
I mean, well, either if usually the 4 hour comes in first before the dot comes in, like opposing arrows. So as soon as I see opposing arrow, I'm out of it. And by then, you should be in profit pretty good.
Okay, so this is the beginning of that. Let's see, what time frame is this? Let me zoom out. Again, this choppy internet. Okay, so this is the 0 o'clock candle. So in your time, this is 4 o'clock your time, right? Your central time. So this would have been literally almost the next day, right?
Yeah.
But this still happened in the same day. So you're only checking the candles on the 4 hour marks like that. Like the marks that I told Connie earlier to remember, the 4 hour time change candles, right?
Yeah, I mean, I usually check if I'm doing this strategy, I'll check the charts like 2, maybe 3 times a day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Any particular time?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I just check every 4 hours, like just for each candle to close. So like if I see red dots, which on your chart meaning it's going down or looking for sales, I'm only looking for purple dots. I'm not looking for green dots. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that would avoid a lot of the drawdown. So
yeah.
And waiting for 2 daily dots means that it's not going to bust through. It doesn't mean it can't, it doesn't mean that it can't obviously break it eventually. Because again, we have dots here, comes back up, have dots here, comes back up. And they can totally bust past previous resistance. But still, like you want to, waiting for the 2 dots on any time frame. So 8 on the 1 hour, 2 on the 4 hour, 2 on the daily. That would be a really safe way to trade.
And the main reason why I like Cat Swiss is because it usually always goes more than 2 dots. Most of the time it goes more than 2 dots.
Okay, so
on the daily.
Pair.
On the daily. Like gbpusd usually gets, I mean, I've never traded that on the daily.
Okay.
But I'd assume it gets maybe 3 dots, 4 dots. I'm not sure.
Just get it. That's just the Stairmaster. No, he's including the arrows. So what he's saying is he's checking on the daily, and then if it's in the same direction as the 4 hour arrows and the 4 hour dots, correct?
Yeah.
You want both, right?
Yeah, I want both. I'm not gonna take it if it's against it.
So he is using the arrows, just so you know, just so you're really clear about what you're writing down. So right now, let's pick just a random pair, not a perfect pair. How about GBP or NZD JPY? NZD just had some crazy news. No good. Okay. So let's go back in history. How often do you have more than 2 dots? A lot.
Yeah, you do. But some trades stop at 2, some don't. So, I mean, you could trade any pair, I'm assuming. Or don't see why you can't trade.
If you're going for the right amount of pips, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you could trade any pair.
You have to know when to exit the trade.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this didn't appear until this rejected.
Yeah.
Not bad. But now it's about taking this and applying rules to it. It is essentially a version of the Stairmaster. It is just trading support and resistance. It's just using a higher time frame. So it's
it's basically the same thing, just a little bit more things to it and higher time frame, like you said.
Guys, we have all the right tools. It's just a matter of kind of applying them in a way that we understand individually, because we're all different. Some people's eyes don't like certain things. My eyes are not fond of that TDI, although it's super amazing and it's a great indicator. I just don't care for it. But there's tons of good indicators, just a matter of making them work for you. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, keep an eye on Cat Swiss, by the way. It has 1 dot.
Keep an eye on Cat Swiss. It has 1 dot. Just 1 daily dot. So we're on the daily. It has 1 dot.
Yeah, it's 1 dot. I'll check it again tomorrow.
Because you're waiting for it to retrace.
Yep, I'm waiting. I want 2 dots, or yeah.
And you're going to the 4 hour?
Yeah. I mean, you could go to the 1 hour also.
Yeah, see, I go the 1 hour, and if it matches my confirmations, I'll just take the bigger stop loss and because then it's less work. So we'd be waiting for more green dots on the 4 hour.
Yeah, by the time the second green dot comes in, you should have the triple arrows and it's about to break to 50 most of the time. Or it just broke to 50.
On the 4 hour?
Yeah, if you wait, whenever you wait for the second dot and you come back to the 4 hour, you have a good percent of the chances you can have your triple arrows and it's already breaking to 50 or in that neighborhood.
Not bad. Not bad at all. That's awesome. I like that. See, because this only has 1 dot right here. Right? Just 1 dot. 1 dot. You don't really pay oh, these are 4 hour dots though, that's why. Not bad. That's a really good idea. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions? I didn't know the TDI repaints. I didn't know that at all. I just know it looks like a scrunchy mess to me. It doesn't, it tells me overbought or oversold, but that doesn't, something can stay overbought and oversold for like a decade. So that doesn't tell me anything. Well, I know like there's other aspects to it, and I watched a ton of videos trying to learn it, but for the information it gives me, I can get that with other indicators on my chart that I see more clearly. So, any other pairs, questions, comments?
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Lawrence.
I got a question. When it comes to the Stairmaster versus a 10 pip and dip or the flip flop, if you use a Stairmaster in the lower time frames, would that be equivalent to the flip flop or close to it?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, again, I'm not an expert, but the reason I would say no is like it would be. So here, let's change this. Well, let's go to a different chart.
I'm not just I meant now later. I'm sorry, the now later.
Okay.
Now later on the lower time frames.
Would it be the same thing? Yeah, you could totally take this. So again, I don't use the now and later. I practiced it for a few weeks and I couldn't, it was also a bad few weeks of the market in all fairness, but I didn't like the way it traded for me as a person. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It has worked for many, just not for me. So having said that, you can still use the triple arrows, 8 and 18 cross, okay, ADX, crossover, whatever currency strength indicator or news, whatever you need that's going to tell you, hey, what can I do to make this a more safe trade? You can take the faster entry, okay, or the slower entry that's a little bit more accurate. It's only marginally more accurate, but it's also got a bigger stop loss. So you can do the same thing. And look, I didn't pick this pair like to go looking for it. It just came up this way. So let's go back in history. So this didn't have triple arrows, but this did have the really nice, we had the double arrows, kind of played around a little bit, and we broke the 50 with momentum. And we have everything lining up. So you can do the same idea, just using the 15-minute chart. But for some people who are using the 15-minute now flip-flop, they say the arrows kind of confuse them a little. But for me, like it's neither here nor there, because I know that this is the 5 and 13 cross. I know that these repaint, but it doesn't matter because I'm just using these as a, hey, look at me, like Pat taught us, right? That's a, hey, look at me. Okay, I'm still looking. What do I want to do? You're just going for 10 pips. That's it. That's it. So.
I got it. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. So go to Nate. What you would do is you would add the same indicator 2 times. So you would add the SuperEZ version, whatever you have, 2 times. One of them you would put as a 4-hour dot and then make them a certain color. And then one of them you would put as a daily dot and make them a certain color. And it's not foolproof, but it's very accurate, especially if you're going for a set amount of pips, like using the average daily range. Hey, Randy, yeah, you can send me that. The TDI. You're welcome, Nate. Awesome. Yeah, I know that's super great. Like I wanted to try it for US 30 because US 30 doesn't have like a currency strength like indicator or any way to really justify one more added confirmation. So I was working with somebody trying to find one more added confirmation for my US 30 strategy, which is really accurate. But again, compounding with US 30 proves to be very difficult. So can you make a lot of pips and it feels like a lot of money? Yes. But technically, I make more money on Forex than I do on US 30. Because US 30 turns into just, you know, a fool's errand. You win 4 trades and then you lose 1, which wiped out the last 4. You win 5 trades, but trying to compound is hard. To go through each pair. End range, how do you find an entry? You would drag and drop each pair on your chart and decide if you like what you see. Any other questions, comments, charts, pairs?
Yeah.
Can you say your name for me?
Jemiah.
Jemiah. How can I help you?
Yes. Can you look at the odd cat?
Mm-hmm. We look at this once, but let's take a look. Okay. Okay, I'm here.
Okay. I had entered for the buy a couple of hours ago. I'm not in front of my computer right now, so I just wanted to know what your take on it is.
I like it for the buy. Keep in mind, if there's ever NZD news, it affects the Australian dollar massively. And if there's Australian news, it affects the NZD massively. So just always kind of bear that in mind. This is kind of a play out of news, but if you can see, it's kind of trying to push in the same direction. I like how the seller's line is still pointing down on the ADX. We're losing momentum, but that's just a result of the news. We're above the 0 line on the MACD. I like how the Australian dollar is up and the CAD is down. But there's not a lot of gap in between them. And you can see it's kind of playing around. So I'm assuming you're in profit if you entered a few hours ago, right?
Yeah.
So if you're asking me how I trade, I would definitely move my stop into profit. What's your take profit on this, or how did you determine your take profit?
I used the triple arrow strategy. There were triple arrows on from the 15 to the 4 hour.
Okay, perfect.
And that's how I use that to enter my trade.
Okay, but now how do you manage them? How many pips are you going for?
I was gonna do the now later strategy until I saw the opposing triple arrows on the other side.
Okay, so you don't know how many pips you're gonna go for?
Exactly. No, I was just I was gonna go for the triple arrows. When I see the triple arrows pointing on the opposing side, that's when I would get out.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand you. So, but you're gonna protect your profit, right?
Yes.
So you have a big arrow on the 1 hour saying so. Let's check the 4 hour. Let's take a look. We're kind of bouncing around the 50. That's a lot of wicks to the top side. I don't like that, personally. So it's like having a really hard time breaking this. I really wanted to see it to break. But we're getting some momentum, some power. So you can totally hold it, but just protect your profit. Like if you're asking me, I would protect my profit. So if I'm up by 50 pips, protect at least 10 of those. And then if the market reverses or news happens, then you get out with money. And if not, you don't lose. That's the whole point.
Gotcha.
So and according to the 4 hour, this lines up. I mean, it's a little etchy there, but crossover, it's trying to break the 50. Okay, this is choppy, but it's working. I mean, so it looks good. You could potentially get a lot of pips, but it has to, notice how like right here, it didn't stall around the 15 year as much as it is right now. So the 15 moving average, okay, it's stalled around. So we thought we were headed into seller's territory, but it really couldn't break, so it reversed. You see, so let's go this way. I mean, this is a lot of consolidation right here. right?
Yeah, I see that.
So, yeah, I mean, there's no guarantees. It looks like we have a dot on the bottom, the 4-hour dot, which is awesome. I mean, so it definitely could push up, and that's what we're hoping for it to do. And but I mean, there's no. You took a good entry. You had a good amount of confirmations. I don't know what's on your chart, but you did a good job. So now it's about managing it. So if you're really going to hold this until the next set of triple arrows, just either skim some of the profits as Pat would teach you, or if you didn't take multiple entries, at least continue to move your stop loss up. Okay.
Gotcha.
Awesome. I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Hey, Jenny.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry.
Jenny,
Hey, Connie.
what indicator is this on top of the ADR? What indicator is this? It doesn't look like the info system. What is this?
This one's just different. I do use the Info Plus a lot. This one's not any better or any worse. It's just a different set of information. This is called Stats, I believe it's called, and it's free in the marketplace.
Right. It looks, and it gives you the high and the low for the time period you're trading. I kind of like it.
No, this gives you the high and the low of the day.
No, is it daily or 4 hours?
This is of the day. So like if I click between different time frames, that number stays the same. So this tells me the high and the low of the entire day. So the market opened a few hours ago, and that was the high, and this was the low. So it is moving up. It's changed 28 pips today.
Yeah, and it changed, yeah.
This tells you the high and the low of today. The spread, candle time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's called Stats, and it's free in Info in Marketplace. However, honestly, especially like if you're a new trader, I would definitely stick with Info Plus, because Info Plus will tell you the pip value, and yeah. So yeah, I think Info Plus is a really good place to start. Until you really use this, like you really can't make any decisions based off of this, because especially in Asian market, of course we're really close to the high of the day because, well, the day really has just begun. Good night, Nate. May the tips be with you. Okay, guys, well, I am going to call it a night, so I'm not going to ask for a bunch of more questions, but this recording will be posted sometime tomorrow because, again, I use time to upload multiple times. But thank you guys for coming on and asking questions and keeping me company while we look at charts, and I hope you have a fantastic night, and God bless.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you a lot, guys.
You're welcome. Sweet dreams, guys.
Bye-bye.